Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, I am so excited because we are talking all about some of the top kitchen trends, what's new, what's happening, what designers are loving, and what is out there. And bear in mind, you don't have to do any of these in your kitchen. This is just what I'm seeing and some details I want you to know about as you go on your journey of your kitchen design. Now, the first thing we absolutely have to talk about, one of the trends I'm seeing, and it's something interesting, something I'm liking, is actually a play on the Waterfall Edge countertop. And I know many of you are aware of what the Waterfall Edge countertop is. If you're not, basically the countertops are taken down on the sides of the cabinets to the floor. Usually this is on an island, and it can be a really interesting thing, and I think that's cool. But what I'm seeing is actually wall cabinets, okay, the cabinets on the perimeter walls of your kitchen. If there's an exposed edge on one of the lower base cabinets, we're doing a waterfall edge there and taking it down to the floor. I think it's interesting, I think it's cool, and I actually see a lot here in Las Vegas. We have a lot of modern design. Some of the best modern design in the world is happening here. What builders are doing is they're actually taking the perimeter cabinetry on a wall and they're floating it specifically so they can do waterfall edges on each side. I think it's the most interesting thing. I think it looks amazing. It's very cool. You have to have enough space to make this work because you are losing out on cabinet space and countertop space to have this and make it look good. You also have to have the budget for a lot of stone. You're basically putting extra countertops just on the sides of the cabinets. And like if you do it on your island, you do it on the perimeter cabinets, well, you know, you're probably paying for a good 10 feet of extra stone. That's like another slab for just the aesthetics. And it's something to think about if you're like, you know what, something is missing here, we're looking for a fine detail to add into the space, this can be worthwhile. Now, if you're questioning whether or not you have the ability in your home to do this, you say, Garrett, I love the look, but will it work? I can actually answer that question for you. You could always book a one-on-one consultation with me to discuss any and all of your design and decorating needs using the link in the description box down below or going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. You know, when it comes to countertops, when it comes to slabs of stone, we actually have another trend I'm seeing, and I actually think it's pretty good. I think it's worthwhile, and that is the slabs above the upper cabinets. This is something that is kind of new. I haven't seen a ton of it, but what I have seen of it, I'm all in for. I'm 100% here for. Think about it. If you have tall ceilings, like right now we have a lot of retired people moving to Las Vegas and they don't want two-story homes. They're considering aging in place. It's a big factor. And you know, you want to have an open, bright feeling space. Maybe you go for extended height ceilings. Instead of doing a standard 9-foot ceiling, I see 10, I see 12, I'm seeing like 11, 14-foot ceilings in homes. And it's like standard, it's just a thing. Like that's what's happening with one-story homes being built today. And I think it's great. I think it's amazing to have high ceilings, but you're not taking your cabinetry up 14 feet. Are you kidding me? Like, who's reaching it? Where are you getting a ladder from this? This is like major construction. Get the scaffold out, darling, to get to the cabinets. It's too much to do the cabinetry that high, and the cost would be astronomical. So what people are doing is they're extending their cabinetry a little bit higher than you would usually see. Maybe they take it to a 10-foot mark or something, and then they're just doing slabs of stone above it. And I think it's really interesting, especially if you have a home where the kitchen is done, all right? Like it's in, it's installed, it's looking good, we like it, but the cabinetry doesn't extend to the ceiling. There's a big gap of space there. What do? Maybe this is it. Maybe you upgrade that backsplash to be slab stone. Like let's say you have a quartz countertop and you want to say like, we're going to do a marble backsplash there. Cool. Do a slab marble backsplash and then take that marble and extend it beyond the upper cabinets. It could be cool. It's interesting. It's a detail to add to that space to fill it in. You know, I don't love a gap of space above cabinetry, but some homes are just going to have it. Like that's just a reality of life. And so I may harp on about it and say like, I hate it, I don't like it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have to clean it. Like, you probably will. And maybe that's just a factor of life, but you can do something interesting to elevate it. Now we've talked a little bit about countertops. Let's talk about cabinets. What's happening with your cabinets? What's happening with the door styles? What's happening with the hardware? Okay, like let's talk about it because the slab door is back in. The slab door is back in. So, you know, a flat fronted cabinet door. I like that. I think it's okay. You know, it's fine. There's nothing there. It's a slab door. There's nothing happening there. It's a slab door, right? It's just flat. I see it mostly with wood cabinets or with a cabinet with texture on it. I think that's interesting when you're just saying like, hey, minimize the design so we can let the texture speak. But what is also a big trend, the biggest trend in cabinetry doors right now is what's being called slim rail. Personally, I think it looks like a mini shaker. So in my mind, I say mini shaker, but it's a slim rail, and basically the rails on a cabinet door are, you know, the pieces that surround it. Okay, so the way a cabinet is made is it's essentially a flat box, and then a flat piece of wood is put into the center of it. That's a cabinet door. So the rails on the side are much thinner. They're smaller. It actually has a really classic detail, but feels modern. It feels like a new take on something. I like it. I approve of it. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. It's unexpected. We're not used to seeing it. Like, we see the shaker doors all of the time. And I'm not going to be that person that comes on here and says the shaker door is out, because like everybody has them. Okay, what are you going to do? Rip out your whole house and do that? I don't think so. The slim rail is so beautiful. It's nice. It's a take on that, but it's just a modernized version. It has that classic detail, but it's modern. And that's what I'm always saying. Like, if you're going to do modern, contemporary, we have to have some sort of classic reference to balance that out. Like, I'm gonna do a square-shaped fireplace because it feels more timeless, and then we can modernize the floors or the style of mantle. In the kitchen, you do the same. You go for the modern countertop and backsplash, modern hardware on everything, but then maybe we do a door style that's a little more classic. Not in your face as being traditional, but classic. And I think the slim rail door style is definitely that thing. Speaking of doors and door hardware on your cabinetry, one of the biggest hardware trends right now is not about the metal tone, it's all about the style of cabinet pull you have. Now, these have a couple of different names they go by, but essentially it's a flat piece of metal, and that's it. Some people call it a flat edge, some people call it a finger pull. People are also calling it a pull tab. You know, what name you call it, I guess, depends on what manufacturer you find it through. This is very slimlined hardware for your cabinetry, and people are doing it everywhere. It's the same thing. You do it on the drawers, on the doors, on the upper cabinets. You know me, when I talk about kitchens, I always say as many drawers as possible. They are the best thing to have in your kitchen. They take the fullest advantage of the space within the cabinet. And so, you know, I mean, maybe you do a lot of these on those. They're slim lined, they're very minimal. There's not a ton of detail happening on them, because it's all about the quality, the craftsmanship, and because they affix to the inside of the cabinet door and they loop around the outside, it requires very specific spacing of the cabinet doors. You usually see this with a full overlay cabinet door style, which is absolutely fine. It's cool, it's interesting. You know, you are kind of putting your finger, you're basically just touching it and then using friction to open the cabinet. It's interesting. I see it all of the time. Like, every modern contemporary model home here in Las Vegas has this hardware style, and people love it. They eat it up. It's available in pretty much every finish you could imagine. And if you're doing a kitchen, do two-tone metals. Okay, right now bronze is very in, bronze and brass, bronze and brushed nickel is very in. I'm even seeing mirror details come back. But the flat, the tab pull, the finger pull cabinet hardware is the #1 hardware trend in kitchens right now. I'm seeing it all over the place, and maybe it's something you should consider. When it comes to consideration for your home, I also think you should consider making a change in your life, and that change would be subscribing and becoming a part of our GarrettLeChic family. Hitting that subscribe button means the world to me and costs you absolutely nothing. We post 2 videos a week, and they're all about interior design, great interior design, and beautiful aesthetics. I also am on a journey of reaching 100,000 subscribers, and I could really use your help by hitting that subscribe button, joining us. And if everyone, including our GarrettLeChic family members, would give this video a like, it would help me out so much. And be sure you sound off. What is one detail you want to see incorporated into more kitchens? Is it a built-in refrigerator? Is it hidden outlets and plugs? Oh, love that so much. Sound off and share with us, because everybody is looking for some kitchen design details and ideas, and we want to hear from you. One thing I love about kitchens is that they are functional. They are the completely most functional space in your home, and they have to be. And usually that involves lighting. And I love lighting. As you can see, I've got great lighting going on right now, but I love lighting. Lighting in a kitchen is a big deal. One big trend with lighting in a kitchen is no fixtures. no fixtures. We're just going completely bare bones on the ceiling. Okay, that's what's happening in contemporary design right now, modern design, no light fixture. And when I first started noticing this, I was kind of like, I don't know, I love a light fixture. I love a light fixture. Like if it was up to me, I'd have a crystal chandelier in my kitchen, okay? I love big, voluminous light fixture in my space. I wanted to take up all of the room. I wanted to provide me lots of light. But the no light fixture in a kitchen is interesting. So when I say no light fixture, I don't mean no lights, obviously. Like we're talking recessed lights in the ceiling. We're talking lights above your cabinetry, below your cabinetry. We're talking lights incorporated into the island of the cabinets everywhere. Even a big thing right now is under the toe kick. People are putting lighting in. That's interesting. But no light fixtures, physical light fixtures hanging from the ceiling. And the positive end of that, one is that a light fixture often can block whatever you have going on in your kitchen, right? From another room. Like if you have a beautiful vent hood, the light fixture is hanging in front of it. Like it's blocking a bit of it, right? So you see more of it. And the other thing is light fixtures in kitchens get dirty. If you don't have them, you don't have to clean them. And I love that for me. I love that for you, because the less work I have to do, the more excited I am about not doing that work. So that's a positive in my book. And I think it's something worth considering. You can add more recessed lighting into your space. And you know me, I love to have temperature adjustable lighting, and a lot of the new recessed lights that are coming out, they have that, you know, where you can kind of choose whether you want it to be cool tone, mid-tone, or warm. I like warm lighting, but in a kitchen, maybe you go for a mid-tone. But no light fixtures are definitely a big trend for kitchens. And also, some people are doing no actual like ceiling light fixtures, and they're doing sconces in interesting areas, either in a soffit above cabinetry or behind their range, like the cooktop. They're doing sconces on the wall there. It's interesting. It's worth considering. Lighting is very personal, and it increases the functionality of the space. And so when it comes to what lighting is going to work best in your home, I'm all about it. Let's discover it. Let's talk about it. Like, let's figure out what's going to work best for you and get you the most bang for your buck also. And maybe that involves not having an actual light fixture in your kitchen. Now, the biggest trend for kitchen countertops outside of the styling details I'm seeing is the material. And the biggest trend right now is quartzite. Quartzite is a natural stone. It's, you know, mined, quarried, whatever, just like any other stone would be. And it's interesting because you get veining and movement like marble, but it tends to be more tonal. And now, quartzite is not anything new, and no countertop material is anything new, but it's been around for a long time, and I've seen it mostly used in commercial spaces because it is not completely opaque. Like, you can kind of see through it a little bit, and it makes it really good for lighting behind it. So when you go into an interesting restaurant or hotel or bar or something like that, and they have like backlit stone somewhere, it's usually either like onyx or quartzite. And I think quartzite is great. It's a beautiful material. It has, you know, it visually references marble. And if you didn't know it was quartzite, you would think it was marble. It's nice because it has that veining, but it has a tonality to it. It's very soft in the tones it has in it. Right now, Taj Mahal is the #1 most popular quartzite used in homes. And it's interesting because it has similar features to marble, but also similar in durability to granite. It is porous, so it has to be sealed, but it's less prone to scratching and chipping, etching like marble is. It's not completely the most durable thing in the world. Like, the most strong, durable, natural stone out there is granite. And I like granite too. I think there's lots of beautiful variations of granite. It just comes down to what you're looking for. I don't think you should pigeonhole yourself into one thing, like we're only going to consider this, like put my blinders on, that's all I see. I like going to stone yards. I just want to look around and see what they have that's cool and that's interesting. For a long time, quartzite was very expensive. It was like the more high-end, the rare variety of marble. It was like you'd go there and you'd be like, whoa, like double the price of the marble, like let it be. And it was beautiful though, so I mean, it's very attractive. Now, maybe that pricing has come down a little bit. It's going to depend on where you go. So I like to go to a stone yard and I'm looking at the price. And sometimes you see a deal on a whole slab, or maybe they had 5, they sold 4, they have 1 left, and what's somebody going to do with 1 slab of stone? And you can get a good deal that way if that works for your space. I just like to look around the stone yard and see what they have, what's out there, and then you can kind of do your research on whether that material is going to work for your home or not. One way or another, I'm telling you right now, I don't think it'll be the biggest trend that sticks around forever, but it's in right now, and I think it is actually a timeless material. Now, one of my favorite trends that I'm seeing for kitchen design right now is actually the custom metal vent hood. I love a custom vent hood. I love a big, stately, oversized vent hood. I think it just adds such a punch to a kitchen. I think it just really ups the ante and improves the scale of a kitchen, because sometimes if you have just like some dinky little cabinets up above with a microwave there, it doesn't feel right. It feels kind of out of place. It feels like some cabinets stuck on the wall. A big, beautiful, oversized vent hood is my favorite thing ever, no matter what it is, you know, what material you've made it out of. Like, there are people that do them out of stone. That freaks me out. Like, is the stone gonna crush me? Is it really gonna crush me? Like, I could be comfortable being crushed by a slab of marble if it was gorgeous, but that's beside the point. I don't love that, but what I'm seeing right now is metal. Metal vent hoods in mirrored finishes, antique finishes, hammered finishes, bronze, brass, you name it. I am seeing custom metal vent hoods. And I think it's actually really interesting, because if you look at the way things are manufactured and made, like a wood vent hood, if it was matching your cabinetry in wood, that takes a lot of work. The wood has to be sourced, it has to be cut, it has to be fabricated and put all together and everything, and then it has to be stained and sealed or painted and then installed and all of this. Well, that's a lot. But with metal, basically they make a base frame, they fold the metal to shape, and then attach it. Like, that's it. There's less fabrication there. It can actually move faster depending on the finish you choose. Sometimes like elevated, expensive finishes can be really, really, you know, up there. And what I'm seeing for these vent hoods, these metal vent hoods, is a modern contemporary take, and they're just boxes. They're just big boxes. Adding that extra metal is gorgeous in a kitchen. It's a little detail. And I'm always saying, like, mix hardware and metals in your kitchen, and that's another place to do it. Like, let's say you go with a bronze finish for this vent hood. Well, get a faucet on your sink that matches. A beautiful, gorgeous statement faucet on your sink. And then the hardware on the cabinetry, let's do it in a brass, let's do it in a brushed nickel, let's do it in some other finish to mix it up a little bit. Actually, I like brushed nickel because it references back to the stainless steel of the appliances you might have, and I think that's wonderful. Built-in appliances are great too, but the metal vent hood. Now, my favorite thing about these custom vent hoods is that they can often be incorporated into an existing home. And I love that, because if you can up the ante in your kitchen and make it look designer and beautiful, but it's a real kitchen, it's your real home, I think that is amazing. Speaking of which, let's up the ante in your home, but let's talk about doing it realistically in this video right over here, all about interior design for real people, okay? Not the movie stars, not the people in the magazines, real people right here. If you're real, and I hope you aren't fake, be sure you check out this video right over here, and I will see you over there.